Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot. 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 Welcome sound check 1, 2, 3, 4. Sound check number 2. Sound check 1, 2, 3, 4. Sound check number 2. Okay. Hello everyone. Can you hear me? That's what I need to do. Sounds back now. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. My computer is going haywire. And so it looks like I'm going to have to purchase another computer because it's been doing what it wants to do. It's been setting itself up to its own settings that it chooses to do. Just out of nowhere. I shut it down in the evening and wake up in the morning. It act like it's not shut down. I'm back now. Okay. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and More. My name is Nancy and I'm here to consult the tarot cards for every zodiac sign, hopefully for the month of July, year 2020. I guess I can give you an update about what's going on in my reality or in my immediate environment. It's been nearly 100 degrees over the last few days, and so I couldn't read the tarot. Then once it began to cool down, we had a really bad storm. The power went out for many, not for myself, but for many. But the, what do you call it, the air itself was sticky. Everything was sticky. I felt sticky all over. Every bit of furniture I got felt sticky. It's just been icky. So this is the first opportunity that I've had over the last week to read the tarot cards. Right now is the environment is very energetic. Not even a mile away from me, they're doing street racing on the street, and this year they seem to come down my way now. A couple of weeks ago, it was right out here outside my house with all the street racers and them doing donuts and figure eights and all the liquor bottles. They were partying, and so it might happen tonight. I don't know. because they just getting started, because it's what, it's 1 o'clock, so they just getting started. So I don't know if that'll come through. The grandbaby's here, so forgive my background because all the toys are behind me. It's just very energetic, very, very energetic. So hopefully y'all can hear me. Can I get one more sound check? Let me know that you can hear me before I begin. I'm gonna shuffle the cards. Okay. Oh. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Another thing I like to say is, if anybody has cashed at me, I thank you. I do apologize that I haven't, sent any little, what do you call it, little icon back saying thank you. I got a new phone. My other phone broke, and I haven't downloaded the Cash App link on my new phone. So, thank you. So can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Is anybody even on the page? Let me see. Okay. Oh, we're not that. Don't go that far back. Okay, George. Nancy, I do not know how the cards have turned for me, but I'm getting everything that I want. Ain't that something? I noticed that too, George. I know. Hello. Welcome into the house. Getting everything you want and that I need. Yep. And I predicted the dust storm called Godzilla a couple of months ago. Really? Really? Free readings? No, I'm not doing free readings. The energy has to be calmer for me to do that. I'm just doing general readings for hopefully all zodiac signs. But yeah, isn't it nice? Before we begin, I want to talk about getting everything that you want and need. I find it so interesting that for many, it seems that that is the case, that they're getting their wants and needs met. I know it's not for all. It's a new experience. And how can I say it? It's strange to not worry. This is something that I'm going through, George. I realize that in my life, even though, again, I can't say I had a bad life, I feel like I was always on edge, wondering would I have what I need at any given moment to sustain my life, or my quality of life. And not only mine, but my kids and stuff. And since this pandemic thing has begun and all the money that's flowing, the little tidbits that I wasn't sure about are met. And for me, it started last year when I talked about how that spirit that I grew up with, my childhood, what do you call it, imaginary friend, came to me. And I said, whenever she come to me, it's about some money, and it's about big booms of money. And I told y'all about me getting several big booms of money, and then here comes the pandemic with an extra little stimulus. So as soon as I didn't know about the stimulus, I didn't know about each booms of money, where they would come from. So every time I got a big boom of money, I handled bills, I paid in advance. And so now after a stimulus, I'm ahead of the game finally. And so I don't have that looming worry about not being able to, make ends meet. And it's a very unusual feeling, a really, really unusual feeling. Another thing I've been experiencing is that, how can I say, and it's about, all ends being met at the moment anyway, because we in this for the long haul. But at the moment, is that I started thinking about people that have a lot of extra money, always have had a lot of extra money, and probably never had that looming feeling that they may fall short at some point in time. The state of mind that they end up being in, because it's never that looming feeling that they might fall behind. What I'm saying I've been introduced to another spirit. And I don't even know how to say it. I'm gonna think about it because I really want to talk about it because it's an interesting state. The last live stream I made, I talked about how for many people, uh, these unexpected lump sums of money are the first time they've had them, and they are indulging, overindulging. I talked about all of the incidents that have been happening in my, uh, environment, from accidents to all kind of thing, overdosing, people just overindulging. And since I made that last live stream, it has continued to be the case. I haven't been a person that watched the news in years, but I found on Facebook I guess a link or whatever it is to something called Detroit Scanners. And these are people that listen to the police scanners and report the different incidents. And so it has led me to go to like my local news on Facebook, and they report incidents that's taking place in the moment, or in the last few days. And it's the same thing over and over again. People are overindulging. They are moving too fast. I know I'm all over the place, y'all. I did come here to read the cards, but you say you felt sticky. Oh, I felt so sticky, George. It was horrible. It is humid over there. I can't take humidity. Right. Now it stormed so hard it brought the temperature down and it's dissipated the humidity. But when I say it was so humid, everything was sticky, George. I was like this. I was like, Lord, I can't take it. I kept going to the shower over and over again. And the last time I took a shower, I said, I'm not putting no lotion on. I'm just going to be ashy. And I started to get on here, but I was so ashy. I was like, I refused to put any lotion or tonics or anything on. I was like, so finally, a break. And then I bought a tent. So let me talk about I'm all over the place, y'all. Let me talk about my stimulus. So I sat on this stimulus for a while. And I was like, what do I want to do with some of the stimulus? Of course, save some. But I was like, I want to get something for myself that I've wanted, that I haven't sacrificed for. And if you follow me, you may have come to know that I'm what they call it, a doomsday prepper, a survivalist. So the one thing I haven't bought, I didn't sacrifice for, was a tent. So I ordered this tent for like about $250, I think it was. And me and my kids erect the tent, and we do all that. George, once we get the tent up, remember it was so hot. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to go in my yard. I'm going to take y'all out there in my yard. I realize my phone won't do it, but somehow I'm going to take y'all on a tour of my yard so y'all can see my tent. So one day it was so hot. I was like, I'm going in this tent and I'm going to chill out. I get out in that tent. When I say it was like a sauna in the tent, I was like, wait a minute. I bought the tent so I could get out here and not have to be in the house and, stay cool. I done put the tent under a tree, Got out there, was like a sauna. So I'm like, Lord, why is it so hot in the tent? So I come here and I Google, why my tent so hot? To find out, people put air conditioners in tents. I was like, Lord, this is another Mandela effect for me. I got to put air conditioner in my tent now. I'm trying not to run up the utility bill by, giving myself alternatives. So I was like, okay, they put air conditioners in the tent. Or the other alternative is to get a tent fan. I was like, so now, Lord, I done bought the tent. You mean to tell me I gotta go spend some more money to get a fan for the tent, or I gotta put an air conditioner in the tent? That's more money. I was like, I ain't doing it. Okay, so then the weather changed and it started raining and storming and get windy, and I'm watching this tent rock. I'm like, oh Lord, these little stakes that come with the tent ain't gonna, keep it down. So I go to the store and I buy bigger stakes and more, what they call them, cord, and anchor it down. I was like, okay. But what I'm saying, I was like, how can I say? In my life, I have lived to learn that nothing ever stops. It never stops. And the tent has been a reminder. It never stops. What am I saying? I'm saying I buy the tent, then there's issues with the tent, like it being too hot. So now either I have to buy a fan for the tent or air conditioner for the tent. It never stops. Then the wind whipping and blowing the tent around. I gotta buy better stakes and bungee cord, whatever it's called. It never ever stops. I'm like, my God, it never stops. I know this is for tarot reading. I'm about to start reading the cards in a minute, y'all. He said, I take 101 heat in the desert, nice and dry. I never experienced that before. I heard it was nice. Anything but that humidity, George. Anything. So, what am I saying? Because I'm just talking, y'all. And I forgive me because the internet been messing up everything. It's just been a hot mess. Today, while I was on Facebook on that Detroit scanner page, they reported that a 13-year-old, I know I'm supposed to watch what I say here on what's this, YouTube, but he shot himself, and it was fatal. I was like, all of this money, and I bring it up, this young man, because he's not the only one. These incidents are happening back to back all day long, every day since this since the money started coming in. First it was real quiet, but since the money started coming in, people buying the things that what they wanted or were interested in or want to indulge in. And so I can just imagine that a lot of people went and bought guns for the first time. And, oh, here go the camera going in and out. Bought guns for the first time. And it never stops. It never stops. And people don't think, where's the, oh, Lord. Oh, maybe this is it. Yeah, this is it. Oh, it's cleared back up. People don't think about how everything has its, what is it called? Its responsibilities, or its, I don't know, I get on here and can't think, but everything has its responsibilities attached to it. So people, first time gun owners, go buy guns, but they don't think about safety locks or making provisions to make sure that I know this ain't not for my house. I know it ain't. It's not secure. It's not secure. People don't think. Is this for my house? Hold on, y'all. This can't be for my house. It can't be. It can't be. It's not. Hi, how are you? I done messed it. Okay, the camera came back in focus. This is an interesting time. Interesting time. Okay, let me talk a little bit about the astrological energy. I've only taken a brief look. But what I saw over the last few weeks, several weeks, is that the energies that we are dealing with have to do with our sense of security. I want to say it. It has to do. It has had to do with our immediate environments. Close to home, which makes sense because we're supposed to be quarantined. Minimal outreach, and it talks about the security that we have at home, or the peace of mind we have at home. How can I say this or offer an example? It's like the environment that I live in. I'm sitting here for longer periods of time. How is that affecting me mentally? It also has to do with a person's behavior. birds of a feather flock together. I don't know if that makes sense or not. And so the astrological energies were like really pointing to our state of mind, our mental health, our behavior, you know, in relationship to the current unfolding events. Not only our own, but those in our close proximity, you know, our neighbors, our family members, the people we have to deal with every day as we move through these, you know, experiences that we're having. I'm trying to think because I looked at the stars briefly. After, I guess, about 4 months of being quarantined and or going through the effects of dealing with a pandemic, like being quarantined or being essential worker, being overworked, going from home to work, you know, the different threats and different things like that we presume threats. What impact is it having upon a person's psyche? And based on the status of a person's psyche, how are they behaving? How are they behaving? And the power keep flickering too. The power keep flickering too. How are they behaving? At this point in time, in your own environment, do you feel secure? Do you feel stable? Do you feel, you know, if you feel secure, you're able to pay that forward to another. But if you, in your own immediate environment, your own immediate world, feel insecure or uncomfortable or threatened, then your behavior might possibly reflect that, you know, in your relationship and interaction with others. I don't know if that made sense or not, but that's somewhat like around what the astrological energies have been talking about over the last few weeks. So I want to look at the tarot cards for as many signs as I possibly can. And the first time I look at is Aries. Wish I could get my head into the game. Unusual times. Oh, would they answer the beeping? Aries, your first card is the King of Cups in reverse. Now, the King of Cups suggests either you are executing the energy of water signs, or there's a water sign that's prevalent in your life, will be prevalent in your life in the month of July. So the water signs are Cancers, Pisces, and Scorpio. These are our people and the energy of being able to connect and to attach to another. They are able to feel and to be sensitive. Is this thing glitching? Oh, help me be in a zone. So what am I saying? I'm saying, Aries, even though you're a fire sign, it is possible that in the month of July, you may have the an increased ability to attach to another, and or there's someone around you that will attach to you, whether it's you or another person. You may be attached in a way that you or them are emotionally clingy, needy, demanding. You could be emotionally manipulative in your dealings with another. The next card is the Seven of Cups in reverse, pointing back to the Six of Cups. And so the Six of Cups talks about your day-to-day routine and all that you do, namely who you connect with. So it's somebody that is very a vital person in your life, again, in the month of July, that you're connected to. And you're frequenting. I haven't been talking, y'all, I've been quiet. Just ride with me. You have been frequently engaging with this person. And so you could be emotionally needy. Maybe you've become dependent on them because you've been around them a lot. You've been dealing with them a lot. So you could be emotionally needy. Or you could be tired of them, and you may be emotionally crabby, or snapping at them to get them away, this person away from you because they're always there. Now, the Seven of Cups itself talks about having a choice. It almost seems like for many Aries that you didn't have a choice to deal with this person or not. An example of how this could manifest in some Aries' life can play right into our current events. It could be that, again, we have been in quarantine for some time. And so you may be around a family member consistently until it's got on your nerves. That's a possibility. Or another way it can manifest for some Aries is that you could, be an essential worker, and you're constantly, find yourself at work for long periods of hours, dealing with coworkers, people that you may have in the past. Maybe you only worked part-time. You may have only worked six hours, and then you were off, able to go out, blow steam off. You didn't have to deal with the coworkers as much. But again, keeping in line with our current events, maybe you've found that you get more hours to work, and so you're around these coworkers more often, longer periods of time. And then when you are off, you don't have the opportunity to go blow off steam, and reset for the next time that you have to see power surging. You don't have to deal with them. And so a lot of Aries in the month of July could become, again, very cranky, snappy, or something like that. I do believe for many Aries it has to do with somebody that's in your immediate environment. Remember when I was just talking about the astrological energies, I was talking about your emotional state, your sense of security and stability, basically within your immediate environment, and your attachments with others, and your behavior as a direct result of the circumstances and situations that you find yourself in. I offered the example, circumstances, situation being like being quarantined for an extended amount of time around the same family member, not catching a break. It could be the kids, something like that. You were used to your kids going to school, but now, school has been closed, and kids have been home. And so it's the, kids jumping all over the place. They need you to help them structure their life. And that could be something that's like becoming overwhelming for you in the month of July. Hopefully that made sense. I'm going to move on. Try not to spend too much time. Let me do Taurus on any given sign. Okay. I'm trying to stay calm. Okay. Taurus. Your first card, Taurus, is the King of Cups. We just got through with the King of Cups in reverse for Aries. So, just like with Aries, Taurus, the King of Cups suggests that you may be displaying some of the qualities of water signs, which are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Or there's somebody that's very significant in your life that is a water sign in the month of July. As with Aries, the King of Cups is in reverse. So that could suggest that either you or that someone significant in your life could be displaying some of the negative qualities of the water signs, which can be, depending on the scenario, emotionally needy, clingy, wanting, longing, and or you could be snappy, short-tempered with others, emotionally detached. We'll see. The next card is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse suggests that there's a blockage to your ability to manifest your physical desires. That could be money. You need more money. Rent paid, lights paid, gas paid. Maybe you want to go shopping. You want to redecorate. You want to change something or manipulate something in your physical world, and you haven't been able to. And so the King of Cups suggests for many Tauruses that in the month of July that you may become upset, sad, irritated with the fact that you can't manifest what you want. Again, whether it's money, a new car, or whatever. Why? Because there is a lack of resources or funds or something like that. For some Tauruses, unfortunately, it could be anything from paying a bill, utility bill, keeping up a car note, something like that. Maybe you're a Taurus that needs a new pair of shoes. I don't know. There are so many things that we can acquire in this physical world. So what you are interested in manifesting, sustaining, or maintaining in this physical world depends on your unique story. But the thing here is, once again, is that it's a lack of resources. And therefore the inability to build, sustain, and or maintain what you desire, or it ain't even about a desire, it's what you need. We talking about a need here. And so when I talk about needs, I mean like you need a roof over your head, you need food in your refrigerator, you need your car note paid, you need your car, those kind of things. And so what I'm picking up for some Tauruses is just this. Since I started this live stream talking about, it's been many times in my life where there were, even though bills were paid, it was always this fear or looming anxiety that it would be a moment when I would not have what I need to cover, or to make ends meet. And so it could be like that. It's that looming worry and concern about making ends meet in July for Taurus. Okay. Oh, please don't let the power go out. Next sign is Gemini. Okay, Gemini, you're a Libra. I'm on my way. It's the Death card, Gemini. Don't let it scare you. Death card suggests there's the end to something. What will it be the end to? Of course, that which will have an end to it depends on what's actually going on in your life, in your story. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. And here's the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands talks about how many Geminis have been carrying, excuse me, a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility and duties, have been bearing heavy on Gemini. Um, and so in the month of July, many Geminis will have relief for Gemini, as whatever responsibilities and duties that you've been carrying the weight of and bearing, um, for many Geminis have truly become very unbearable. And the death card lets us know and let you know that there's going to be an end to you having to carry all that. How can this look in the physical world, in reality? An example is, keeping with our current events, is you could be an essential worker. And since all of this is begun, you have been consistently working, and you haven't been able to see a break, in work. Because what? There might be a shortage of workers, you might be a supervisor, you just on demand essential worker, and you have not been able to catch a break. In July, you will catch a break. Whether that break is given to you because they bring more employees in, so it gives you a break, some time off, or maybe there is some type of or what's the word I want to look at use. Like it's saying, maybe restrictions are lifted in relationship to what we have going on. Some restrictions lifted that allows you to be free. Something like that for you, Gemini, in the month of July. So what am I saying as I stumble over my words? I'm saying, hey, you're going to catch a break in July. You're going to be able to catch your breath, and you're going to have a time period to be able to, re-energize yourself. Told you didn't have to be afraid of that death card. It's beautiful for Gemini. Next card, Cancer. Yeah, as far as Gemini goes, it's a good thing. Catching a break. Oh, wow. This is death. That Gemini reading puts me in the mind of another report I've been hearing, like news report. Coming up to the 4th of July holiday, there were a lot of fireworks let off. And there were reports that people that had, post-traumatic stress disorder, they were shaken up due to the fireworks. So Gemini's reading could even manifest in reality like that in some regions, where there's been a lot of fireworks, that the fireworks will, people won't shoot off as many fireworks and they catch a break in that way. That's another way it can manifest in reality. Just thought about it. It's hard doing readings when I've been quiet for a while. All right, Cancer. Cancer, your first card is the Death card. The Death card, once again, don't be afraid of the Death card. Gemini just got the Death card. It's just the end to something. That which will have an end to it in the month of July is, of course, unique to your story, Cancer. However, we're going to consult the cards to see what else it has to say. The 5 of Pentacles in reverse, pointing back to the 4 of Pentacles. It says, I'm about to read chat in a minute. Let's talk about the 4 of Pentacles. And the 4 of Pentacles can talk about or point to your physical, worldly foundation, just how secure you are. Your home, your possessions, Cancer. just how stable you are. Again, it's like saying, like right now, again, keep in mind our current events we have going on. Are you confident that you will be able to pay your car note? That's your sense of worldly security, physical worldly security. Are you confident you'll be able to pay your rent or your mortgage? With the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it suggests that many Cancers have not felt secure. Let me get comfortable and see if I can ride a wave now, because it's sure enough, these cards are sure enough lining up. Are you comfortable and secure? Cancer, for many of you, you have not been secure. You haven't been confident that, your bills are going to be paid, the car note is going to be paid, you're going to have, I don't know, bus fare, transportation to work. You just have not. You haven't. The Death card lets us know that July is the month in which you will catch a break, where you won't have that sense, that looming sense of something gonna happen, or that insecurity riding on you at all times. July is over, which is interesting to me. That is so interesting to me. So many things going on in my mind, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It was something else I was gonna say. For some Cancers, the Five of Pentacles has to do with physical, worldly discomfort, hardship, illness, poverty, those kind of things. So for some Cancers, you could be concerned about illness, or you could possibly be ill. July is the month in which you will see your breakthrough. You will see your breakthrough and into it. A definite change. Something else I was going to say. Set up. Everyone needs a break. Yeah. And I see the card saying, hey, Gemini, Cancer, there's going to be a break. Geminis are what? They not going to have to carry all the responsibilities and duties associated with something, maybe essential working. Cancers, you're not going to be constantly having to be afraid of if you're going to have your rent or your mortgage or not, which is interesting. So what I was thinking, like, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Should I say something? I don't know. I'm going to leave it like that, Cancer. You're going to catch a break. You're going to catch a break. Something's going to be paid. It may come out of nowhere where you don't expect it. Maybe it's a second stimulus check. I don't know. Maybe you've been waiting for your unemployment and you get it. A family member steps in. But the issue, the pending issue, or the issue, or the pending discomfort will be resolved in the month of July. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Something's going to be paid. Something going to be okay. You're going to be healed. It's okay. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to have to come back with another video because I'll be long-winded. And I'm just trying to see where, I should have labeled them. Okay. Let me take a break. Okay, next is Leo. I mean, there and positive, and there can be positive ends, thank goodness, yes, as far as Gemini goes. Yeah, I think with all this police brutality along with corona pandemic, has everyone of all signs said and at a loss. Yes, everyone needs a break. Yes, everyone does, but yes, we also need to, when you get a break, manage your money well. And that's what I was going to say. Now you done bought it out of me, Ebony. You bought it out of me. I was going to try not to say it. And what I was going to try not to say. Oh, here they come. All the cars. They drag racing. I can hear them coming, some of them. Is that to save your money. You are absolutely right, Ebony. Everybody needs a break. Some people are getting a break and they are just splurging. But we must save money. The tarot cards is just saying, okay, some of us are going to catch a break. How can I say this? See, when I read the zodiac sign, yeah, when I read the cards for each zodiac sign, I am reading for each individual zodiac sign. But each person, each one of us, is a say a conglomerate of all zodiac signs. So a part of me, the part of me that's a Gemini, is gonna catch that break, that energetic break. A part of me that's Cancer is gonna see a bill paid or something resolved that's been concerning me. A part of me. What else? We talked about Taurus. Taurus was about having an emotional response to our discomfort. Each of us, our Taurus part, is uncomfortable with the not knowing if we're going to be physically secure in this world. You know, if we're going to have food or a roof over our head. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Trying to say. And what was Aries? Aries is about being, and then when we get to this place where we're so concerned about our sense of security, we can get a little grumpy. And that's what Aries was about. You know, and so all zodiac signs are a reflection of each one of us to different, degrees. Different degrees. And so I hear the card saying, hey, each person that is a part of humanity, I know that you're stressing at this time due to your current situation, the pandemic. I know you're stressing. I know you're concerned about your physical, worldly security and stability. I know you're stressing. And a part of you're stressing, you act out. And you become cranky or mean or to others in your environment. I know this. It's saying, hey, in the month of July, folks, you're going to catch a break, an energetic break. Whether it's having time off of work, more time to sleep, whatever it is that you need to, re-energize, to reboot, to reset. You're also going to get something, paid. You ain't going to have to worry about something, I hear the card saying that to us. But I also know that it's important for us to be a good steward over our money. Save some money, do the right thing with our money. Because like the tarot cards, I'm reading it for the month of July. But we in this for the long haul. What about the end of the year? We actually more than halfway through the year. What about next year? And so we're going to have to really, really plan ahead. So what am I saying? I'm saying the cards are talking right now, only talking about July. So I don't want y'all to get it twisted. The cards are not saying it's going to be perfectly okay from here on out. It's saying in the month of July, these are the breaks we're going to catch. But we got a long haul. We got a long ride with this. I hope that made sense, y'all. I'm going to get it together one way or another. Okay, let me do Leo. Just get it together. Okay, Leo, your first card is the Judgment card in reverse. The Judgment card in reverse says right now, or during the month of July, is not the best time to make a decision, a final decision about something significant in your life. What that something is that you may feel anxious to make a decision about is what, of course, unique to your story. But let's see what the cards say. 7 of Swords. I get it. The month of July is not the appropriate time to make a final decision about who you're going to boot out your life. It's not the time, Leo. As the 7 of Swords talks about the partnerships that we are in, the social partnerships of different types. I'm sorry if y'all, I hope the camera's still working. The power keep going up and down, in and out. But it's a different type of partnerships we have. It's everything from our spouses to our parent and children relationship, um, neighbors. You know, it might be some people that you feel compelled to dismiss from your life. And many of these people that I feel that Leos may feel compelled to dismiss from their lives are people in their immediate environment, like being tired, going back to Aries, being just tired of your spouse, being tired of your husband, being tired of your kids, being tired of your parents, being tired of your neighbors, being tired of your coworker, whoever that other person is, whoever that partner is. And so what I'm seeing is like many of us are stressed. To see, like Aries, that energy was stressed with the people around them. And Leo represents the energy or the person that is so fed up with another, they make rash decisions. They don't consider that the other is equally as stressed due to whatever the circumstances in or situations are in their lives. And so it almost seems to me for Leo, it's saying don't do it in July. Don't, like, something is going to be revealed. Maybe you'll get this realization or this what do you call it, empathy toward another that is getting on your nerves in July. So it's like, just don't dismiss somebody. Now, I'm not saying if you in a domestic violence situation to stay in it. I'm not saying that. But if it's just somebody that's getting on your cotton picking nerves, just, you know, you go to your corner and let them go to theirs. Go to theirs in the month of July, because July is not the time. I do believe if you know, are cruel to another and dismiss them out of your life, you'll regret it. I was saying a little earlier in your reading, Leo, that what was I saying? I'm so distracted, y'all, by everything. I'm so sorry. I apologize for the sloppy work, but it was something about, oh, people in your environment, somebody in your immediate environment. Don't dismiss them because it will be haphazardly. It'll be like an emotional response when everybody's stressed out about one thing or another. Because you share the environment, you are co-creators. And the time period is quickly approaching that you're going to have to work together in order to make sure that the people in your environment are secure. And so it is easier to work with people that you are in good standing with than it is to work with people that you've fallen out with. So go to your corners, separate corners in the month of July, Leo. Hopefully it makes sense. Let's see if I can do this one. Virgo. Hopefully it makes sense. Okay. I want to see something. I've been hearing something, y'all. Top chat or live chat. People been talking about clicking on live chat. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. I'll try that and see what goes on. Okay. Okay, Virgo. It's finally cool. It's finally quiet. Finally. It's been a whole week of chaotic energy. Oh, don't blow a horn. Please don't blow a horn. Just be quiet. Okay. Virgo, your first card is is this the 6? Yeah. The 6 of Swords in reverse, pointing back to the 5 of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about your day-to-day routine and everybody that you have to interact with. It depends, of course, on the details of your life, Virgo, whom you are interacting with. Some people are at home and they're consistently with their family, maybe involved with the neighbors a little bit. Other Virgos could be people that go to work. You're an essential worker and you've been, continuously interacting with your coworkers and then your family or whomever you've been interacting with. It seems like you haven't been able to get away from them. You haven't been able to get away from them. This Six of Swords is in reverse, pointing back to the Five of Swords. Oh, wow. This is kind of a repeat of Aries energy. See, Aries reading talked about the emotional state that people are in as a direct result of being around the same people over and over and over again. You mean getting upset, getting depressed, getting angry, them emotions. But for you, Virgo, it's talking about your behavior, how people are acting, not feeling, but acting as a direct result of having to deal with the same people over and over and over again. Not being able to get away, not having an option to get away, not to have a way to redirect your energy, to reboot yourself, reset yourself so you can go back and deal with them same people. It seems like, Virgo, in the month of July, either it's you or someone that you are constantly having to engage that has become very messy, socially messy, a gossiper or a nitpicker, or somebody that's not really dealing with our current circumstance and or situation very well, and they may be, I don't know, constantly talking about it, just talking about things that you don't want to hear over and over again. It could be just that Virgos feel closed in by seeing the same faces over and over again. Wow. Seems like in the month of July, yeah, people are starting to get a little stir crazy for multiple reasons. Okay, so let the racers come down this way. The next card for you, Virgo, is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant represents tradition, authority figures. Let's see, Hierophant, as far as dealing with the authority. Who's the authority? Who's the authority, Virgo? The officials, the rules that you have to adhere to, that's making or forcing you into these social circles that you're tired of being in. It's these authorities. These authorities. I think that a lot of Virgos are and represent the portion of the population that is like fed up with the authorities, like the governors, in their rules to wear a mask, to you be an essential worker, to have to quarantine. It's this frustration that's growing for Virgo in the month of July. You feel like you can't escape in the month of July. That's interesting. You get like it. People are I'm picking up at these cards and people are getting fed up with this whole thing. It's supposed to be spoken too soon. Yeah, Georgia back. You say, hey Nancy. Uh-oh, I did. Hey Nancy, sorry, I was going to run. My godmother needed to talk to me. Okay, of course. And distracted me. Did you talk about Gemini yet? I did. I talked about Gemini and there being an end to something, and that something is associated with something that's draining Geminis energetically, like having to constantly pursue something, do something, like constantly have to go to work. I talked about essential workers as an example. My camera messing up again. Having to go to work, having to demand, or Some Geminis might have kids at home that would normally be at school and having to carry that load, you know, and it just energetically draining. Something draining Gemini. And in the month of July, Gemini catches a break from that. You know, it's the end of that. Oh no, I guess I gotta go replay. Yep, you gotta go replay, George. But at least the little name tags over to the side. Oh, yes, she did speak about you. Okay, thank you, Ebony. So, what am I saying about Virgo? Am I on Virgo? Yeah, Virgo. I'm saying in the month of Virgo, it seems like you represent the portion of the population that's fed up with authorities and this whole pandemic thing and the quarantine, the pandemic thing, the rules surrounding, you know, quarantine and essential workers and masks and what they say, shelter in place. You're highly frustrated. You feel trapped in the month of July. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Let's go that way, not that way. Let that go. Libra. Okay. Now I'm on Libra. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. It's just been so much energy. Is it in y'all environment? Have y'all noticed an increased amount of energy? Like energy is building. It's just everywhere. It's crazy. And I'm more of a quiet person. I'm more in my head, and all of that energy, you know, make me nervous. It makes me really, really nervous. Yeah, Libra. Yep, you still here. I'm here. I'm just tired. Make me nervous. People arguing. They get, ooh. And then to read this, ooh, Lord have mercy. Okay. I seen it. I just seen that Hierophant. I'm going to keep shuffling. Because wasn't that Virgo that just had the Hierophant? Keep on shuffling. Okay. Your first card is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Right there. Six of Pentacles in reverse. The Six of Pentacles in reverse points back to the Five of Pentacles. So let's talk about the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles talks about some discomfort in your physical world, hardship, difficulty, poverty, being broke, sick, etc., etc. The Six of Pentacles talks about your day-to-day routine and everything that you do in your power to try to make sure that you don't be broke, sick, homeless, broke, busted, and disgusted. Everything you do. In the month of July, many Libras may be at a point where they feel like it's nothing else that they can do, or there's not an opportunity for you to hold off those discomforts in life, you know, those physical worldly instabilities in life. We're back to the place where we're talking about people having to deal with or cope with a pending fear that they not going to be able to make ends meet, which is contradicting to whom's reading? To who was Aries, Taurus, Gemini, to Cancer. Contradictory to Cancer. Cancer. 4, 5, 6, 7, 30, 60, 90. Makes sense from that perspective. Because it, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to connect the readings. So Cancer talked about an end to, it was something. Dang, I can't remember. into, it's catching a break about something. I can't remember what the cards was, but it's somewhat contradictory. I'm trying to find a similarity and a contradiction between Cancer's reading and Libra's, but I can't remember Cancer other card. I just know that it talked about an end to that looming sense within the emotional state, because Cancer is a water sign. Therefore, that suggests one's inner emotional state, being able to calm down and feel secure, not have that looming sense. But then we get to Virgo. Virgo is a earth sign that talks about your day-to-day routine, all the works that you do, and how it's this, again, this looming thing about not going to work. Fire trucks every minute, ambulances every minute, police cars every minute. It's too much energy. So for what am I saying? Libra, I'm seeing in the month of July, it seems like you are confronted with and represent the energy of people that like don't have a job or something like that, you know, and day after day it's this, again, discomfort. It goes back to this discomfort or this insecurity in not knowing if you can make ends meet in your life. Why? Because you don't have a job, or you know, you're not sure. It's like the longer you're off from work, the more insecure you become about your physical world. That seems to be what it is. But I'm going to pull one more card. The next card is the King of Cups, but he's upright. Now, the King of Cups represents our water signs, which are Cancers, Pisces, and Scorpio. These are people in an energy of being able to successfully connect with another or other entity outside of ourselves in order to bring about a sense of comfort and security. I see. Give me a minute, y'all. Is somebody outside blaring their music? They laughing, they talking, and shrieking. So loud. Finally, in the month of July, there's a break. Libra, the cards are saying here that many of you have been in this place where you have been very concerned about your inability, like example, to be employed, to know that you got a job to get up and go to every day, so that you can make the money that you need in order to provide the lifestyle that you need, or to maintain your lifestyle. In the month of July, there is that break that is talked about with Cancer. That you get, shut the fudge up. I didn't cuss. I said fudge. You get a sense of like faith in the month of July. You are like, you find another avenue. What the hell is going on? If I hit it, I know I got all these cords. You attach to something, faith, or it's something that you attach to, Libra, that you are able to gain a sense of emotional stability while in a storm. What storm am I talking about? I'm talking about, like, again, not being employed, not having that job no more, or it's not open to you right now. You get some type of encouragement in the month of July. That looming threat of not being secure in this physical world has been overwhelming many of you. Remember, when I read, yes, I'm reading for each sign, namely you here, Libra, but I'm also reading for every individual that exists, an aspect of them. So you represent a part of the population that has gone through the worries and the fears and the hardship and didn't know if they was going to have their bills paid or got sick and didn't know if you were going to go to work. You might have been an essential worker but got sick and couldn't go. You just didn't know. And so you were so stressed, so stressed. But the King of Cups upright say in the month of July, you get in tune with something. You get in tune with your higher self. You get in tune with, as far as having faith, you emotionally attach to that which you need in order to be emotionally sound and secure and stable. Now, I'm not saying that in your physical world it's going to be peaches and cream, but what I'm saying on an emotional level, you are calm. You represent a person that gains a level of calmness, faith, and serenity as we walk through these trying times. And does that make sense? That's what you represent or get in the month of July. That's serenity. I'm gonna say it like that. Which straight turn wild. What time is it? 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. Now I thought I had a moment of quiet. It ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Okay. Serenity. Well, I'm thankful for July. Looks pretty good. Okay, y'all. Go ahead. They gonna start having a party at 2 o'clock in the morning. Scorpio. Okay, Libra, you the one that got the serenity. Let's see what Scorpio got going on. Scorpio. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse back, pointing to the Four of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles represents the discomfort in life, in our physical world, our lack of security in this world. It represents sickness and hardship and just being broke, just the difficulties in life. And it points back to the Four of Pentacles as mentioned. And so that the Four of Pentacles points to your inner emotional state as a direct result of what's happening in your world. Where are you? If you go through sickness, how is that affecting you emotionally? If you don't have the money for the bills, how is that affecting you emotionally? That kind of thing. Some concern. Again, it's concern. The next card is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups. The Six of Cups represents your day-to-day routine and all that you attach to and you connect with to feel support. To feel support. So Scorpio, in the month of July, it appears to me that you're looking at better days, reflecting upon those better days when you were able to make ends meet, them better days when you were able to save. We were just talking about how important it is to save at this time. Some Scorpios may be looking at what they did save when times were, we can say, pretty good. What were you able to save? What have you been able to fall back on? These are the things that you're looking at in the month of July. So that suggests that some Scorpios could be actually looking to their savings to help carry them in the month of July. Some Scorpios may be looking at like their health regimen, you know, down through the years and where they are physically now or health wise now, um, to see if they have, you know, like for instance, if you've been a real health fanatic kind of person, how that's helping you endure now. Or if you're a Scorpio, you look back and like, ooh, I ate all of that stuff I shouldn't have ate and indulged in all that stuff I shouldn't have indulged in, and I find myself a little weak now or vulnerable. My immune system is vulnerable now. You know, so in the month of July, you're looking at where you find yourself, where you find yourself. It's this realization that Scorpio has or gains in the month of July. Of course, it depends on which Scorpio you are and what the actual details are to your story. But an example is like, if you're a Scorpio that has been a health fanatic down through the years, and at this point in time you find yourself stronger, your immune system is stronger, you look at that as a what is a resource or something that's beneficial to you to help you get through this. You know, you can get through it. You may be, like for instance, let's say, go back to the essential worker. You're an essential worker, and you realize that even though you've been working 3-4 months nonstop, that you still have the stamina. You know, you still have the stamina. So you realize that in the month of July, you realize the resource you have, or what else can I call it? The benefits you've acquired in life due to your own works. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you could be a Scorpio that said, oh, I just really didn't, you know, take my, you know, health seriously, and now I'm like exhausted. You know, you see where you may have neglected yourself in times past, and it's revealed in the month of July. Does that make sense to you? We have for Scorpios, your reading also points to other people and whom you valued. Some Scorpios may find that they are going through increased difficulties or hard times as a direct result of who they stayed in a relation. Here go the power again. Direct relationship with, you know. Let's say if a Scorpio was with someone who it was selfish and never brought anything to the table. Well, at this point in time, Scorpios maybe again having more difficulties moving through this time, like having food or a savings because they were with somebody that was wasteful or something like that. It's this realization like, God dang it, I got this mother sucker sitting right here next to me that's just been misusing everything, misappropriating everything, but it's me, Scorpio, that allowed this to, you know, continue. If I had got rid of that person back then, whatever back then was, I wouldn't have lost this, you know, money, or I wouldn't have so much responsibility on me. It's something like that. It's just this realization in a month of July for Scorpio, which is interesting because Scorpio, your reading plays back into Leo, where it tells Leo, says, hey Leo, don't make no rash decisions about dismissing people out of your life. That's interesting. Don't make no rash, egotistical decisions about putting people out your life. 5, 6, 7, 8, 30, 60, 90. It's a lot of stuff. The grandbaby done took my notebook. It's a lot of 90-degree references in this reading. It was between, was it Gemini and Virgo? 3, 4, 5, 6, 30, 69. I think it was between Gemini and Virgo. I know this is not a good reading, y'all. But it's a lot of information in it. And what was I just doing? Scorpio and Leo. That was air. What am I doing, y'all? I'm thinking over the readings I've done, because they all relate, they all relative, and so I'm looking for the more in-depth message that exists for us all. And so I see air and earth. It's a hard transformation. I'm writing notes. And it's water and a fire and water. It's a dampening. Dampening of enthusiasm. Okay. Don't rush me, y'all. Let me take my time. So, we have these emotional. Oh, okay. Looking at the people around you. Some were beneficial, but for many Scorpios, there was someone that was just really a dead weight around you. It is a dead weight around you, and you realize that in July. In prior times in y'all history, you couldn't see or you couldn't accept that this person was dead weight. But in July, it is a time period in which you can no longer ignore that they're a dead weight. And it's a time period that you can't release them for various reasons. I'm quite sure, as I think back on Leo's reading, for various reasons you cannot release them. Maybe you're dependent on them about something. You stuck with them. You can't evict them because maybe the courts are closed or slowed down. You know. So right now you're kind of stuck with these people. And people getting on your nerves, going back to Aries energy. That's some deep stuff. That's deep. So I'm gonna move away from Scorpio. But Scorpio, what is yours about? Multiple things, but it seems like the primary theme of your reading is that you didn't let something go in the past that you should have let go of. Life kept trying to prompt you to let it go on your own, but you held on to it. And now as we move through these challenging times, you can see fully how they are, or it is a dead weight in your life, and you can't let it go right now as we move through again our unfolding events. And you realize it's a dead weight. You realize you missed the time period to let it go. You realize you're kind of stuck right now and having to deal with the unfolding circumstances or situations that you find yourself in. We're gonna see. I'm gonna have to watch this again. Because I feel like we moving into something. When I say we, I'm talking about all of us are moving into something based on these cards. Moving into something. Ooh. What are we moving into? Okay. I was Scorpio. Oh my God. Sagittarius. I'm going to try to get up real early in the morning and do a reading when I freshly woke up. Sagittarius. Your first card is a Two of Swords. That's a card that I often pull for Sagittarius. It almost seems like you always got to make a decision, or you are teetering between two perspectives. How to think about something, how to say something, who to associate with. You have this choice you need to make in the month of July. Your next card is the King of Pentacles. He's in reverse. Thinking. What is Sagittarius thinking on? It's about manifestation. It's about building something in your world, or creating something in your world, or manifesting something in your world, or working to bring something into existence in your world. You're thinking on that. That's what you're thinking on. How do I go about this in the month of July? How do I make some more money? How do I buy a new car? You know, what do I need to do as Sagittarius? The King of Pentacles is in reverse, so it suggests that you may display some of the negative qualities of the earth signs. The first earth sign I want to talk about is Taurus, and its possible negative expression could be lasciviousness or overindulgence. How do you go about maybe getting that luxury car finally? I don't know. Maybe what do they call it? The interest rate is low. Do you go after that luxury car, you know, since the interest rate is low? Do you go about it? You know, maybe you need a car. Or do you, you know, buy a modest car? How do you go about it? What do you do? What do you choose to do? The King of Pentacles is a reverse, so it suggests that many Sagittarius are going to take advantage of whatever privileges they can get. You know, like zero, what is it called? Zero interest financing with zero interest. You're going to get that luxury car, that Jag or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a motorcycle. Brand new rather than used. You know, it's just this lascivious nature, this indulging nature, taking advantage of it, and that's what you're thinking on. The next zodiac sign is Virgo, and Virgo negative expression can be very critical, hard, so it's about you manifesting something in your life. You may be going after more money, I don't know, and you could be very I don't know, let's say it's a competitive market. This is just an example. A competitive market out here, Sagittarius, and you have whatever you're into is very competitive, and you putting bad slang, slang out on people, ruining other people's reputations for doing the same thing you do in order to, you know, make yourself look better in the consumer's eyes. I don't know if that made sense. You know, and so what I'm saying you may display the negative qualities of the earth signs in order to acquire what you want in the month of July. It almost seems to me for Sagittarius like by any means necessary. And then the Capricorn negative expression is, again, it's like stepping on people's toes. So what am I seeing for Sagittarius for the month of July? It seems like you're out to obtain your desires, and it's by any means necessary. It seems like many Sagittarius see an opportunity that has opened up for them to obtain their desires, and it's by any means necessary. If you got to step on somebody's toes, if you got to bad mouth them, whatever you got to do, if you got to live above your means, you're going after it in July, which is interesting. Because early in this live stream, I was talking about with someone, I think Ebony, that it is a time to like save money, to make good decisions, to be a good steward over your money. And for Sagittarius, it just seems like you're going to be just really taking advantage of this whole situation. In this whole situation, there are some benefits for certain people. Let me try to make it make sense. I recently heard a report that there were some, what they call something loans, PP something loans out here, some type of pandemic loans for small businesses or something like that. There were people that were, I guess they were still considered small businesses because they didn't have a lot of employees. And so these businesses went after these loans and they got considerable loans from the government. That kind of energy, where there were smaller, struggling businesses that applied for the loans and may have not heard from the government or the what do you call it, loan offices or banks or whatever, or they were denied. Maybe the funds have ran out. See, you Sagittarius are and represent those that go after those loans and get them. You know, the loans and get them. It's like just really taking advantage of the situation in July. Hopefully that made sense. I don't know. I'm still trying to get through it. Taking advantage of the situation. Okay, what's the next? I'm going to get through this mess. Gonna be a better day. Capricorn. Better day. Sagittarius is enthusiastic. You are seeking your desires in the month of July. Seeking to have them fulfilled by any means necessary. Okay. What was before Sagittarius? Scorpio. And Scorpio is about looking at the past. What's the other card? Can't think right now. Okay. I gotta go back and watch it. I gotta watch this. Okay. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, your first card is the Seven of Cups. It's reappeared. It came out earlier, but this time it's upright. And so the Seven of Cups talks about the partnerships that, or the options, I'll say, to connect to entities outside of yourself. Whether it's a person you have an option to connect with, a job opportunity, I don't know, to go to a certain place. You know, those options that are out there to you. For some Capricorns, you in your world, you see a lot of options about what you can engage in or connect with, that offer you like emotional support. Whether it's a person, again, a place, a thing, it's a lot out here for you. You see it, you recognize it, and you're evaluating it. Like, what do you really want to connect with in the month of July? The next card is the Empress, which that makes sense because you see the value in something in the month of July. That played back into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you seeing the value in something, and it rolls over into Capricorn. You know, I mean, well, you know, you want something and you're going after it. Capricorn talks about seeing the value in something in particular. It's these options out here for you, you know, but what's the best option? You know, because you can only travel in one direction. You can only be in one place at any given time. And so Capricorn is looking like, what's the best one? What's going to be most beneficial to me? What's going to bring me the most abundance in my life? What's going to bring me the most value, the most wealth, the most harmony in my life, you know? And so it's like seeking. In prior videos, I've been speaking about people that lived their life in a way that they were only able to provide the necessities to live. They didn't get those extras, you know, the luxury vehicle or the red bottom shoes. They just had regular shoes or the hoopty, or they took the bus. And I talked about this being a time period for many that there's been floods of money or lump sums coming into people's lives. And when people got these lump sums, they went and indulged, they splurged is the word, they splurged. That's what Sagittarius represents, that splurging. Capricorn, it represents you having your, what do they say, your eyes are fat. You know how people say eyes fat? You see so many things that you want, and the opportunity is here. The money is here for you. The financing is here. And you're saying, like, what should I partake in? You know, what's going to last the longest? You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that you can acquire, you can indulge in, and they can be gone like this. And then there's other things that you can acquire that can carry you for the long haul or for longer periods of time, bringing a lot more balance to your life. An example is a Capricorn could say, should I don't know, take a trip to Jamaica? I don't know. Or should I, Capricorn, buy a reliable car? That's the kind of options Capricorn is looking at. And for Capricorn, it seems like you'll make a decision to like buy the car rather than take the luxury vacation. You know, with the extra money or the lump sum, you're going to indulge, but because it was something you never could do. But you're going to buy the car because you're going to rationalize that, hey, well, this car can help me get from A to Z. It can help me get to work. You know, I don't have to leave out for work as early once I have a car. It's that kind of thing for you in a month of July. It is really sitting down and being very aware of what you will indulge in, or what you will purchase, or what you will invest in, if that makes sense. That's what July represents for, or represents for Capricorn, or that energy. Makes sense. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay. Because that play back in to Cancer is that looming fear, like ended. Remember, Cancer represents that looming fear of not having what you need in the physical world to be secure and stable. And Capricorn, which is a sister sign to Cancer, says, I'm going to go get this car because it's going to help me, you know, over the long haul. It's going to bring a little more peace and balance in my life. Virgo, the other sister planet, was just saying, Virgo was about, what was Virgo about? Gemini gets the breakout. Gemini gets the end of carrying responsibilities and duties for Gemini. And Virgo was about, can't remember. Do you hear him? Y'all here doing donuts, figure eights, donuts. Y'all hear him screeching? Again, y'all, I apologize. So much energy, and it's been so many accidents that to hear all that screeching had me on edge. To hear a boom. I keep hearing booms. It's too much. Booms or firecrackers and what do you call it? Different fireworks, and then gunshots. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's like people losing it. Here goes some more. I stay off of Main Avenue, so they must be coming down the avenue. I told you they ain't nothing but about a mile away, turned up out there. They had early this week, they had a rig, you know, the front part of it, the bed part of it, the truck part of it, rig doing donuts in the middle of the street, a brand new rig. Come on now. It's been crazy. Right here where I stay on the freeway, there have been 3 rollover accidents in the last week. I mean, these people are turned up. Turned up. I was like, okay, Capricorn, you're going to decide what you want. And you're going after it. I get it. But that's interesting that even what Capricorn chooses to go after, they're still indulging. That's some deep stuff. Got to take care of it. What am I saying? Between Sagittarius reading and Capricorn reading, it's saying that many people need like necessities. I know our construct labels like having your own car a luxury, but most of us know it is a necessity. It makes getting back and forth to work easier, getting your kids to school, going to doctors. You just make life easier. You can move around quicker, get more done. And so Capricorn represents going after that necessity, like a car. And then Sagittarius energy, looking at that same car, is also a luxury in a person's life. And that is, how can I say, it's a duality there in which one's higher and lower self can step in. One's godly self is either going to regulate the experience, or one's dark side or devil self is going to regulate that experience. Just like what I've been seeing, that people at this point in time, many people have been able to acquire the necessities that they need in their life. But because these people didn't have the necessities, they lacked. These necessities are also luxuries to them. So once people acquire the necessity, which is also luxury, if you're not mentally ready, spiritually ready, you can misuse, misappropriate, abuse that necessity, which is also a luxury, because you didn't have it, because you lacked the ability to get it. And so that's what I'm seeing at this point in time for many people. An example of how this can manifest in the real world is going back to the example of getting a car. You ain't had a car. A car is a practical thing, a practical purchase, but it's also considered what, a luxury. So a person goes out, Capricorn goes out, buys themselves a new car. If they're not in their higher self, they may do what? Get out there and do donuts, drive too fast, do something like that. It just ride everybody around everywhere, not check their fluids and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Being in a lower self. And or a person can be in a higher self and realize you have to be in your higher self in order to maybe prolong, having that necessity met, having that luxury in your life by doing what? Driving the speed limit, not doing donuts, being responsible, those kind of things. And so that's the kind of energy I'm picking up in the reading between Sagittarius and Capricorn. You know, right there, that energy right there. You know, who are you as a person? And I'm not talking to Aquarius. I ain't started with Aquarius. I'm talking about as a person. Who are you? Because remember, we are conglomerate, I think is the word, of all the zodiac signs, just to a lesser or greater degree. Who are you? When the opportunity opens up for you to get that necessity, that is also a luxury because you ain't had it. Are you going to be responsible? Are you going to be responsible? Yeah. Because I get it. It's so much. I see so much. It's hard for me to say, talk about, because there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here. So that's the energy between Sagittarius and Capricorn. Oh, I think I get it. And if I go back to Scorpio, it was about thinking about the past, hard times and difficulties. So when you are able to acquire, I'm just talking to everybody in general, when you are able to acquire that or get that practical purchase, whatever it is, and you feeling yourself, you really feeling really good, you know, and it's a possibility for you to fall into your lower self, your lower energy, and you want to turn up. It says think about them times from the past when it was more difficult, when you didn't know, you know, if what you were going to help be able to make ends meet, or remember them times when you were, you know, without, or getting around was more of a challenge. Remember those times in order to help you balance yourself in the month of July. And that's what all people remember that. This is a time, I see. This is July. It's a time period of it's not a breakthrough, but it's it's a time period of, what is the word? Man. I'll say a breakthrough, for lack of better words. It's breakthrough. You know, we've been stressing, we've been worried. Many of us haven't had what we want or what we need, or we're not sure that we're going to have what we want or need. This is what the message is overall I'm picking up. And July is somehow a breakthrough for us energetically, whether we need more time to sleep or sit down to re-energize, or, you know, we need something paid, or we need some food in our cabinet. It's coming through. It's coming through for us, of course, in different ways, because our stories are different. And when you get that blessing, we could say, you have to be a good steward over it. Unfortunately, that blessing, that practical purchase, is also a luxury in many of our lives. And so when we get that luxury, we can want to turn up or overindulge. You know, I can see people in this world that don't have much food in their kitchen. And in the month of July, something comes through, whether it's a pantry, more money, a family member, a neighbor, I don't know, it comes. And the kitchen goes from empty to full. This is just an example. And the family's so happy the kitchen went from empty to full, they don't think about rationing. And they just start indulging, eating all the cupcakes and the this and the that. And they turn around a week later and they back to square one. Whether they had rationed, maybe it, you know, lasted a little longer, and they would have had those pleasures a little longer, rather than sitting back eating cupcake after cupcake, chips and cupcakes, and having, you know, movie nights. You know, and so it talks about that occurring in the month of July for each and every one of us, one way or another. The dynamics or the details are, of course, different, and depends on our own unique story. It also talking about this overall reading. I know I've been rambling everywhere, but it talks about having to be around the same people for a prolonged period of time. and getting frustrated with that. It does. And it talks about, you know, kind of going to your own corner in your own space and dealing with your own self. It's saying try not to be brutal or cruel to those that you're sharing your immediate space with. Because guess what we're going through isn't over. And you're going to have to work. You're going to be called to work with those in your immediate environment in order to get through this experience. And what was I saying earlier? It's easier to work with people that, you know, you're in good standing with than it is to work with people that you're at odds with. And so the cards overall is talking. That's the message it's sending to all of us. You know, hey, you know, try to, I don't know, stay in good standing or cordial. Stay cordial with those in your immediate environment. And then the one where the reading where it was talking about, hey, I think it was Scorpio. Some of y'all got people in y'all environment that's weak links. Now I ain't seen nothing yet that I can think of that's dealing with how to, you know, cope with those people that you was prompt to let go of a long time ago and you didn't, and they still there. I ain't picked nothing else up, but I do know Leo's energy said, hey, don't you know, don't jump to try to just get them out right now. It's something else, I guess, that has to take place. I ain't seen it yet, but I'm on my way. I got to do Aquarius and Pisces. So let's see what Aquarius is saying. Thank you for sharing your time with us. I'm a chocolate angel. Well, thank you very much. Look, don't mind me. I've been shut in a little too long. Okay. Thank y'all for dealing with me and stumbling over words and my stress. Okay, Aquarius. I mean, this has been, this last week, I'm trying to think of the weeks prior. It seemed like just things are just increasingly getting more and more amped up. I guess it got worse with the weather. And then the power going out and the internet flicking in and out and my laptop acting crazy doing. I wonder if Mercury retrograde. I got to check some stuff. There's something going on. Something is going on. Aquarius. Aquarius, your first card is the Two of Swords. Card has returned again. I think it came up for Sagittarius, but it came in upright. For you, it's in reverse. So the Two of Swords, Aquarius, points back to the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords talks about the beginning, the initiation, the commencement with an idea, a thought, starting to communicate something, starting to associate with someone or something, but you don't know who, you may not know how, in the month of July. Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, of course, is a representative of Aquarius. It's also a representative of Libra and Gemini. You all are air signs. How can you scream? How can they have no concern for their safety or other people's? I don't get it, but okay. You all are air signs. We are air signs, and so we're over thoughts, ideas, communication, forms of communication, different type of social exchanges, socializing. This is the Queen, who's highly receptive to everything. In this case, what is this Queen receptive to? Is that there's something that needs to be communicated. What am I saying? I'm saying in the month of July, Aquarius becomes aware that there's something that needs to be communicated. What is it that needs to be communicated, Aquarius? Now, Aquarius, even though you're an individual person, you also are a representative of the collective. Aquarius is the 11th house of Aquarius, talks about humanity, or each individual that creates humanity. There's something that has to be said, something that needs to be spoken, something that needs to be communicated. Now let's look at each air sign to see if it offers us a hint to what needs to be communicated. Gemini. Gemini represents the lighter side of socializing, flirting, having parties and gatherings. It's this thought, it's this idea that we need to get out, that we need to be involved with each other and having exchanges. It is that which needs to be communicated. But remember, the Two of Swords is in reverse, talking about how do you get it out here? How do you do it? How do we do? I wonder why the power, I guess a lot of people, well, it's not real hot, so it shouldn't be a lot of air conditioners running. Power one. Okay. How do we do it? Let me see. Keep it in mind, our shared current experiences related to the pandemic has many of us quarantined. There's a threat of, the spread of the coronavirus. People are at a place now, a possible breaking point, where they need to get out. They need to be free. They need to socialize. It's an innate part of being human. To what? Socialize, to interact, to engage, to exchange. And so the question for Aquarius represents that concern, that question. Answering that question, how do we, at this point in time, in July, get out here and socialize? Lighthearted fun, hang out, have gatherings, those kind of things. How do we? The Queen of Swords will move to answer that question in July. So what am I saying? I'm saying Aquarius is going to have some fabulous ideas about how do we communicate. We'll also find spokespersons about speaking about ways to socialize, to communicate. The last thing we heard was, hey, 6 feet, face mask, so that kind of thing. Maybe that'll be updated in the month of July. Aquarius, you may have a unique and fabulous idea about how to throw a gathering that allows people to, again, indulge in their innate need to connect, to, have social exchanges, but yet to stay safe. What that might be, I don't know. Your idea, of course, would be unique. One of your rulers is Uranus. Let's see. After Gemini is Libra. For Aquarius, you'll be looking at partnerships and beginning to, explore the concept of intimate partnerships. Who's more, how do I say, who's worth taking a chance with? You know what I'm saying? How can I say? What I've noticed in my reality is that family members, we don't, we're under the same roof, or we frequent each other, so we don't wear face masks around each other. We come in closer proximity with each other, and we have those exchanges. So that's something that the Aquarius energy will be meditating upon in the month of July. Another thing I've noticed is that, like when I engage with my neighbors, I keep that 6 foot distance. We're not wearing face masks because we're in our immediate environment. You get what I'm saying? But we don't come within 6 feet of each other. And so we communicate from a distance, a short distance. And then when I go out in the world, I practice, or many people practice, wearing face mask and a 6 feet separation. And so that's what Aquarius is dealing with and trying to figure out alternatives to in the month of July. Because it's really about getting out and being able to socialize, or expanding our social interaction with each other in a way that is still safe. Excuse me. To people involved, the parties. Excuse me. And so back to the Libra energy, talking about partnerships. Another way this energy for Aquarius can manifest, for Aquarius as well as for the different groupings of people in humanity, has to do with like the work environment. How do you move forward? How do we move forward in the work environment and make it safe? How about going out to restaurants? How are we gonna, do that? These are the kind of things that will be discussed and explored and discussed in July, and we may find some answers too about how to move forward with it, if I'm making it make sense. And I do believe Aquarius will have very unique ideas that may be acceptable for the majority. Like, oh yeah, that's an excellent idea. Never thought about that. That kind of thing. Never thought about that. Contracts with Libra. Employers and employees. I've been hearing about how employers are concerned about opening their businesses back up and having employees come back to work, and the employers have fears that the employees may get sick and then turn around and blame the employer and sue them. See that? The power gonna go out. It ain't storming nothing. It's finally cool, but something pulling on the power. Something's pulling. Because it's just a fan, regular fan. Something pulling. It's in the month of July. That's the kind of thing that's going to be further addressed. I do believe in one of these stimulus package, care acts, or whatever. They're trying to deal with that now. That's an example of the energy I'm talking about here. And in Aquarius represents the large social network, everything from churches. So what am I saying? In the month of July, there will be discussions about reopening the churches, and if so, how do we do that? Other social groups and their establishments, how do we open them up? Universities, going back to universities, school going back. These are increased discussions for the month of July. And in Aquarius life is personal. Do you go back to church? And if so, under what guidelines? Will you go back to work for your boss? Under what guidelines? These are the kind of things Aquarius personally will be exploring and answering for themselves in the month of July. And whatever you come up with, that's what you're going to move forward to do before July shut down. What am I saying? I'm saying if you're Aquarius that's religious and you want to go to church, you going to figure out how to go to church. Maybe y'all going to have outdoor revival. Outdoor revival, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, and say bring your own chairs. You know what I'm saying? Bring your own little folding chairs. See, that was a unique idea. That's what I'm talking about. And then so Aquarius going to go to church with their face mask, with their own lawn chair, and they're going to go do the revival outside, 6 feet away from the next parishioner. That kind of thing. You'll be doing that by the end of July. If you go to work for a particular a business, y'all might negotiate, like some work can be done at home. but you're not an essential worker, so you never thought about it before, or your employee probably never thought about it initially. But like, say, hey, some of these jobs, even though they're not essential, still can be done from home. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what you do. Say, yeah, well, we can do this work from home. Maybe certain employees can come in certain days of the week and work in different offices. You know, so it's going to be that kind of thing. And if that be you, Aquarius, you'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna work Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday in my office or cubicle, you know, and do my part, and the rest I'll do at home. If that's what you come up with, that's what you'll be doing by the end of July. Hopefully that makes sense. Last but not least, Pisces. Oh, I gotta get some coffee. Oh, I can't see. Hold on. Oh, here they come screeching down the street. A goddamn stressing me out. Hey, how are you? Energy has been very much amplified. Yes, it is. It's making my nerves bad. I thought it was the Starbucks. Let's see. You praying for me to get 100,000 subscribers? We can get close to that, but not too close. People crazy. People crazy. I ain't got time. I don't want to blow up. People, it's too many folk. These folks off the chain. One thing with all this sweating in the summer, it makes your skin healthier. Yours look healthy too. Yes, thank you, it does. And when I say I was sweating, I mean I was sweating. I mean, I was like, okay. And that's all I can think about, George. My pores are being purged. But oh my God. I don't want it to become 100 degrees again. I can't. And what I did this year is I usually have an air conditioner in my room and one in the back room. I'm trying to keep the bill down. So I said, okay, I'm going to put the air conditioner in another room. And I bought another air conditioner hoping that it would cover more space. And so I put it in another room. And it is no better than the one I had. And then I put it in another room. So my room is uncomfortable. And I don't want to put out the other one I had because I don't want to run the bill up. I go out in the tent and it feel like a sauna. So I'm like, okay, Lord. I just been in and out the shower and in the rooms with the air conditioner, in the room with the air conditioner, trying not to put the other one up. I just don't know. Please, Lord, don't let it be 100 degrees no more. I can't take it. 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 It's too much. I've been out in the swimming pool. I was all out there. I know my neighbors like, that woman ain't got no shame. I put on my one piece, honey, and my little wrap around my waist, and went on out there and got in my little swimming pool. I was cool. Pruned up, but I was cool. I know my neighbors be like, Nancy, I wish you can answer this question. Will me and my business partner in Nigeria be successful with our liquor and shoe business? Ooh, Georgia, you could just stay around. Let me read Pisces, then I'll go into that. Okay, this is Pisces, Pisces. Okay, Pisces, what I'm saying, Aquarius. Oh, okay. Figuring out how to move forward. Oh, that makes sense too, playing back in the Aries. Aries is talking about just being frustrated with being around the same people. Who was the one that wanted to get out and couldn't? One sign wanted to get out and couldn't, just the restrictions. So Aquarius is about figuring out ways to overcome these restrictions because we're getting stir crazy. I see. No concern, no concern, no concern, no concern. Pisces. What's flipping up? New. New. Pisces. New card on the table. Two of Wands in reverse, pointing back to the Ace of Wands. Pisces, you occupy the 12th house in astrology, and it's about what is predetermined to unfold, to soon unfold. Predetermined to soon unfold. The Two of Wands is in reverse, pointing back to the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands talk about the initiation, the urge, the desire to go. But go where and do what? Go where and do what? You don't know. I don't know. We don't know. But we're ready to go. That's what I'm picking. In July, we who? People, the individual people that create humanity is ready to go. They're ready to get out. Ace of Cups. Lovely closing to this reading, Pisces. The Ace of Cups represents the need to connect to something to help bring you emotional stability. It ain't just you, Pisces. Of course it's you, but you're a representative for the different, people in humanity. We all need something right now, it seems, in the month of July. We have, I think that the cards are saying we're to a breaking point, for real, where we need something now. We don't even, most of us don't even know what it is, but we need something to help us feel secure, emotionally secure, sound, stable, protected, that kind of thing. Pisces, you represent that in the month of July. That's what you're seeking. You are like the first one to be aware that you need something to help ground you emotionally. You don't know if it's a person. You don't know if it's a place, a thing, a job. You just know that you need something to ground you. What will that be? That answer depends on you as a unique individual, what you need. Some people need to go back to work, as an example. You need to go back to work. If that is you gonna realize, God dang, I need a job. I can't sit here no more. I can't quarantine no more. I'd rather be an essential worker, which makes sense. Because who was it that get a break? I think it's Virgo. Gemini. Either it's Cancer or Virgo. Somebody get a break. Enough is enough. Or either Gemini, Cancer, or Virgo get a break. It stops. It stops. And you get a break. It's the end of something. And why is it the end of something for one of them, end up being a essential worker, have to work every day and not really catching no breaks, is because Pisces step up and say, I can't do it no more. If I got to get out the house every day, Pisces, is to be an essential worker, I'm going to work for Amazon. I'm going to work for the medical field. I'm going to be an essential worker. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go. I'm going to have purpose. That's what Pisces realizes. If Pisces feel like, I don't know, they need to connect to some new people. Who was it? The one? Aries is tired of folk. Tired of the same folks. Pisces represents a person breaking out can't do it no more. I can't sit here with this person. I'm going to go visit my mom. I'm going to go visit my siblings. It's just that realization about what you need to bring you emotional stability, emotional support. And that could also be I think it was Virgo, Scorpio. Scorpio having the wrong, a toxic person in your environment, and realizing you kind of got stuck with a toxic person. You realize that in the month of July. That's what Pisces energy represents. You realize that in July, say, okay, I got to get around somebody that's more uplifting. This is a deep reading because it shows a lot of transformation for us all in the month of July. A lot of transformation is happening. There are certain desires that we have that will be dampened or made reasonable. I'll say these, we have extreme desires that will be made reasonable, more practical, and will be permitted to move into like a practical expression of our desires. Like a person wanting deciding to go to work because they can't stand being in the house no more, or being quarantined, or being limited, or not having nothing to do. You know, that's a practical move to go become an essential worker. You know, something like that. Or maybe you wasn't talking to your sibling before all this started, but after being around an a-hole for 4 months, you like, oh, I love my sibling, let me get back in touch with him. You know, and so it's these more practical expressions of our desires, you know, in some way. And Pisces, you are a representative of realizing like where you might need to go next, what you might need. You know, like you end up figuring it out. Right now, you might not know what the answer is, but by the end of July, you're gonna know what it is. You're gonna know if you need to go to work, to get out and have purpose and things. You're gonna know if you need, like, here go the camera again, a better quality of people around you. You're gonna know. And let me see of another example. Let's give another example. Purpose. You're gonna know, like, your immediate environment, if you're in the right environment. Because remember, birds of a feather flock together. You're gonna know if you're in the right environment or not. You're gonna know should you like relocate when the opportunity opens up, or you're gonna know if you're in the right environment. Like, man, I was in the right environment when all of this started. I was okay, I was comfortable and secure. Me and my neighbors was like vibing and stuff like that. I felt like my home was, you know, safe, you know, so I need to invest more here. I need to build up more here where I am. Those are examples of the kinds of realizations Pisces will have in July and begin to move toward, you know, making them real by the end of July. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, before I get out of here, my buddy George has a question. Let me consult the cards. Be delicate with me, George, because I haven't been reading in a mighty long time. Now it's getting cold. I ain't gonna keep saying I'm in hell. This is also heaven. This is what I want it to be. But I'm cold now. See the power? Oh, please don't blow my power out, please. Whatever is greater than myself, don't blow my power out, please. Even though I'm prepared. But please, I just don't feel like it right now. When I get done, what I want to do, what I plan to do, is go down and get me some coffee. And sit here and do my advices. Well, one card fell out, George. Okay. What is this? Okay. Nice bug here. Oh, Lord. Okay, George, you asked the question, will you and your business partner in Nigeria be successful with your liquor and shoe business in Nigeria? The first card that fell out when I was shuffling is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords fell just like this. So it suggests something like either or. Let's see. Or process. As the Four of Swords talks about sitting down and contemplating the facts. Have you, George, sat down and contemplated the facts? Before the Four of Swords is the Three of Swords. Just the left hand. The Three of Swords represents your immediate environment. Excuse me, and who you socialize with. Now you share here that your business partner is in Nigeria. The Three of Swords represents your what? Your immediate environment. I do not believe, George, that you are a resident or a frequent visitor to Nigeria, but I could be wrong. Remember, the Four of Swords says sitting down thinking about the facts, all the facts, contemplating. The other side of the Four of Swords is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords represents possibilities. And it also represents chaos and scattered energy in associations or as a direct result of associations. So what am I saying? I'm saying that this Four of Swords falling on the side saying, okay, you, George, supposed to be thinking about the facts that exist relative to your question. And one of the things you need to look at is one of the facts that you need to look at is about your relativity to this person, this business partner. Are they in your immediate environment? How can you really get in touch with them? What do you really have in common? What do you have in common? How well do you know them with the Three of Swords? And understand, based on your answers to those questions, determines what will be created through your association with them. So if you say, well, I don't frequent them, I don't frequent Nigeria, or, you know, it will be difficult or a challenge for me and this business partner to get to Nigeria together, that lets you know what will be created in the future as a direct result, excuse me, of y'all relating. So if you say, Nancy, no, if you say, Nancy, we're going to have, our business is going to be located in Nigeria, but I can't get to Nigeria frequently. That person lives in Nigeria or somewhere else. Chances are that y'all business endeavor is going to be equally as scattered, that is to say, not successful, if that's the answer. But if you can say, hey, I can frequent, our businesses in Nigeria or based in Nigeria, we can get there quite frequently. Me and this person, I know them well, we socialize well, you know, we got some history behind us. I know them, their behavior, their character, we vibe, and we birds of a feather, we flock together. If you can say that, then guess what? Your association with them will create something equally as harmonious. But if you say, I'm not quite sure about how me and this person relates or what we actually have in common, then what will manifest as a direct direct result of your relationship will be equally as scattered or not, what's it, undefined. I think it's the word undefined. I think it might be another word I was looking for, undefined, which would suggest lack of success. Okay, the two other cards fell out, George. This one just keeps wanting to be announced, so I ain't going to look at it yet. The next one is the High Priestess, and she's in reverse, which suggests that there are some details that are present about your endeavor, your business endeavor, that she's not going to give you the answers to. because it is up to you to have discernment. High Priestess in reverse suggests you must have discernment in order to make the right decision and to be clear about what is the possible manifestation of your endeavor. Does it make sense? That you have to have discernment. So that says, Thea and George, if you lack discernment, if you lack discernment on this situation, George, and you can't see, example, that you really don't know this person, you don't really know if you have anything in common, if you can't clearly see an answer, if you can get to where your base of your business is going to be, if you can't answer that truly, if you can't see it, if you can't acquire them facts, then there's going to be an outcome. I'll say this is a lack of discernment. A lack of discernment. How do I say that? A lack of discernment about what's the words? A lack of discernment about any faults. If you can't see the faults, you will live out the residual effects of those faults, which is a downfall. That's the High Priestess in reverse. It says, but George, if you have discernment and you can look at the facts and identify the appropriate questions to ask them honest, ask them and answer them honestly, that will give you the appropriate answers, which will be discernment. And if you move based on what you discover, that's an example to say you realize, well, we don't have enough in common, I don't have enough connection with them, I don't have enough background with them, if whatever the answers are. If you can identify and say that honestly, and you say, well, I ain't gonna move forward, or I'm not going to invest too much, whatever you choose to do, then the residual effects will be the reward for executing accurate discernment. Does that make sense? You want to know, is your business endeavor going to be successful with your partner? You hold the answer. And the answer you can get by asking the right questions. The 4 sources, sit down, grab a piece of paper and pencil, and write down the questions. How well do you know this person? How long have you known this person? What do you have in common? What kind of collateral do you have in your endeavor with them? Can you get to the base of your company? Because what is it, a share proprietorship or whatever, you know, I don't know what the questions are. These are your questions, I'm just giving you examples, George. What legal protection, you know, do you have? Or these are the questions. You know, you grab your paper and pencil with the 4 sources, you write these questions down and you answer them. If you can answer them and they all look beneficial to you, discernment, then you move forward. The answer is yes, your business will be successful. But if you do the 4 sources, you write down them questions and you look at them and like, oh, that look a little suspicious, that ain't looking too good, I don't feel confident about that, and you move forward, failure. But if you cut your losses and say, I don't feel secure, discernment executed, and it's positive in your way, in your favor, but of course you wouldn't be able to move forward with the business. Hopefully that made sense. The last card for you, George, that fell out is the Judgment card in reverse. Right here, right now, based on what I'm saying, don't make no decision. Don't make no decision. There has been how many rollover accidents? Right here on the freeway near me, 3. They still screeching. This is insane. Enough is enough. But okay. The Judgment card. Remember, Judgment card. Judgment card reminds you to take the time out, the quiet space, and to really contemplate the truth of your reality before making a decision. I also feel like this Judgment card talks about investment. When you start talking about businesses, you start talking about investment. Don't make a decision right now to, like, say, I'm gonna invest 5,000. I'm gonna invest 10,000. Sit down. 4 swords on the side, and it's Judgment card. Sit down. Don't you do it. Don't you jump the gun. What they jump the gun, jump the broom. Don't you do that. It says sit down and think about it. That's what it says. It says sit down and think about it first. Again, it talks about not jumping the gun, really evaluating the facts surrounding your reality and what you're going to engage in, and whom you want to engage in, and all the facts around that, and then make a determination. The determination that you make will reveal your level of discernment. So you're being tested, George, at this time on your skill of discernment, or your ability to discern. I hope that made sense, George. You let me know if that made any sense. Just be careful. It seems more of a like a cautious. Take your time and really think things through. You know, and I know starting a business can be risky, but you know, it's really saying make sure it's worth taking a risk, and that you have some type of security or something. You got to make sure of that kind of thing. So, does that make any sense to you at all? I've known him for 4 years, and we have talked over the phone and had FaceTime, but we lost contact when our last venture didn't work because of racism. Now we're energized to do it again. Well, that's another thing, George. You had a past to refer to as well. You say that the last endeavor venture did not succeed due to racism. You know, has that, I mean, how has that been resolved? Would that come back up? You know what I'm saying? How will that come back up? How much loss did you take? What did they lose? You know, those kind of things. Saying, look at all of that. And then I'm real funny. I'm funny style. After I done lost track with you, with a person, and I haven't been, I'm weird like this. If I have I ever lost track with a person, and I don't know where they been and what they been up to, it's like I'm meeting them all over again. I'm all over again, because you don't know who a person has become. Who a person has become. And so you got to learn what they've been exposed to. You know, any person could have psychological breaks. Anything could have happened. Learn some new tricks. Anything could have happened to that person to change who they are. You know, and so I would take my time to get to know them all over again. You say you've known them 4 years, but if you know, it's not been a complete 4 years if you've, you know, lost contact. So I would be very cautious. I would really think over your last venture with them and every detail about it, everything. I would think about what I'm risking as far as investment and all those kind of things. But and truthfully, George, and this is just me. Remember, you have this Judgment card in reverse. I personally feel is that it's a caution to you. And that I don't think that is a secure. I know, again, business is risky, but I don't think it's secure. I don't think it's secure. I don't feel like it's a secure thing, venture. I don't. But that's on you. Again, you got to practice your discernment. That's what's on the flow for you. So, good luck in whatever you choose to do. Be safe. Don't risk more than you can, lose. They say when you gamble responsibly. Yep. Gamble responsibly. If I was you, I would really look into that very, 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 very deeply. Well, thank you all for coming here to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more, and allowing me to read the cards for all zodiac signs for July 2020. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you for dealing with me and all of my insanity. If you're interested in contributing, you can do so by Cash Apping me. My Cash App name is $Can Angels Fly Tarot. Until next time, y'all. Bye.